What's up, fellow lords of gaming, and welcome back to another episode of the good, the bad, and the ugly. Today we're going to jump into some more content about let's discussing, specific game mechanics. We've already discussed all the game modes and understand those places, and you're going to start seeing how the good, bad, and ugly for the mechanics of things work inside this system, and try to understand a little bit more about the good, the bad, the ugly, some potential, improvements. So today we were already continuing on here. We're going to continue with potential. So potential is a really funny thing inside this game because the game doesn't guarantee that you unlock your full potential through the game. And this is immediately where the game gets ugly, right? Because you would feel that any character that you potentially unlock, the possibility of capping that character is what you're working towards, meaning that the end state of the game is basically to get your character towards max power potential. That's the way a game's characters are usually developed over course of MMORPGs, right? Meaning you play through the story mode and stuff like that, and your character basically unlocks all of its defaults, its in-game level stuff, meaning that if I played Black Desert Online, by the time I ranked a character all the way up to level 61, 62, 63, my character has progressed to a point where it's in-game capped, meaning the soft cap of the in-game, and the hard cap becomes something outside of the way, by adding extra tack-ons like gear and accessories and pets and things like that just become like appendages to my character. But anything that's innate to the character, like in terms of its skills and things like that, the things that make up the bedrock of the character are where we get in terms of progression. Not Marvel Future Revolution. So let me explain. So basically around, I think it was level 20 or so, you unlock the ability to enhance the potential of the character. And it's a really weird theme that they basically have in here, and they say, what is the potential enhancement? Basically you're intended to raise up the rank of a character for all of these facilities, for all of these levels inside of here, from basically for, like, I'm using Doctor Strange because that's the character I play, but your character basically has 4 bars of these, and you basically get to see somewhat of how the development team actually intends for you to play the character, right? Meaning like everybody's at the base level starts with attack, defense, and HP, right? And meaning that that's across the board. You can see that those are the utilities of the character: attack, defense, and HP. I've already shared my my opinion with you guys about defense and how probably over the longevity of this game, this stat will mean shit. But then we get into the second stage of your potential, and you can see that it starts to change, right? Like you can see some unlocks. Cooldown decrease and ultimate gauge recovery are 2 of the things that are beneficial to Doctor Strange. Then you go over here, and the next status shows you status effect accuracy, cooldown decrease. Then you'll see status effect and cooldown decrease. So you can start to see how the characters essentially going to awaken in terms of the character's longevity. So for instance, my Doctor Strange is probably at about maybe 75%. Status effect and accuracy are the last 2 things that I worked on. I didn't really understand why this was the probability that this was added in there more, because a lot of the skills that Doctor Strange has, specifically in his Touch of Ashanti and Illusion and Magic Clash, were status effects. That means they're DOT skills and things like that, right? But in terms of the skills overall, those were not, those skills weren't very viable in the game, and I'll show you what I mean by those skills. And then you go cooldown decrease. Well, these numbers right here weren't really valid, like 4.14% of cooldown decrease and 3.1. So you're looking at basically like, the number is arbitrary as hell somewhat inside there, right? Because you're basically looking at about 8.25 or 7.25% total across the board there for cooldown decrease. Who chose 7.25? Like 3.11, I'm pretty bad at math. 3.11 and 4.14, that's 7.25. Why was it just not a cool set 10%? I don't know. It is what it is. But basically, either way, 2.07%. There you go. Okay. All right. Well, that still doesn't add up, because that's 7.25. That's 9 point, whatever. It's a weird off number there. Like you can see, it's not really. Yeah. So you can basically see you can basically see, I don't know why I didn't think of this just now, but we're looking at a cool 9.3% of cooldown decrease that's being added. Why that wasn't just a 10%, who fucking knows? And a 5.4% status effect accuracy that's currently being held in a 4 points. That's not a lot. It really isn't in terms of the overall, like these effects right here are not adding so much as the attack, defense, and HP. So it's like really weird to invest in these. But the problem inside of here, so it's like cool because it adds another layer of character development. You would hope that this would give you some kind of differential, maybe that this was a way for you to build up the 3 individual classes even more, you know, meaning like your Touch of Ashanti, your Mystic Arts, and your illusion magic class skill, that this would have been a way for you to basically make those individual classes pop more. Is across the board, that's what it should look like inside the character. The only problem with this is that it doesn't really work. And here goes even the worst part about it is that this is where it gets bad and it gets ugly, right? Is that literally as you play your character, these things don't all unlock. They are not done in terms of when you finally develop your character, let's say at level 100 or 110 in the game, you're not given enough of these items in order to complete this progression. It gets worse than that, right? Because I feel like this is the part where, you know, as an MMO, this is not where I should be, where I need to purchase. See what I'm saying there? I need to purchase the advancement of my character in terms of non-character add-ons. This is base level stuff for the character. This is the basic level stuff for the character. Like when you get over here, you go, where am I getting my potential reports from? Over the course of the game, you're going to get potential reports from, you know, everything inside the game. You'll get potential reports up and down, you know, as you're making your way, but it's not going to be enough. And I mean, not even enough for you to be 75% of the way to complete like I am, right? Because basically, in order to get potential reports, you're going to have to, on a weekly basis, jump inside the shop, right? And you end up having to purchase those potential reports. Yeah, you heard that right. You have to purchase those potential reports from completing in Dimension Duels. But now, if you remember my video on Dimension Duels and rewards, this is where it gets really, really ugly, right? Because let's say you're a losing player inside the game. Remember, I told you only get 2 tokens per loss. This is just two tokens per loss. So if you competed every day and lost all 5 matches at the base level every day, or lost all 5 matches, that means you get 10 tokens. That means in a given week, you are looking at 70 tokens. So you notice you're not scratching the surface on getting those potential reports, right? Now, you could get those potential reports if you were to, say, win all 10 of your matches or all of your matches, right? Because then we get 20 tokens a day if we win. So 5 matches, 100, right? But here goes the problem, right? These potential reports are available for you only on a weekly basis. So that's only one place where I can get potential reports. Yeah, so when you look up inside here, now you want to see where else am I going to actually get potential from, right? Like that's what you really want, is I want these potentials. So the next things that you end up looking at is you have to purchase potential. Yeah. So it's either crystal walled inside these potential supply bundles, which I did do one week. I'm not going to sit here and lie to you guys, so that way you know I did do that, because you were able to get 200 potential reports from each of these chests, right? So that's 600 potential reports per week, right? Or you could purchase Courtney's thing right here, where you're able to end up with a potential supply box of another 200 reports for $10 basically, right? Or you come over here to the weekly hero upgrade bundle for 50 crystals, and then you get 100 potential reports, which makes no fucking sense at all since it's 50, right? Like whatever. So you get to see what I'm saying here, right? Is that the potential, you're not maxed out by the time your character, if you can name me another MMO where, you know, you generate a character and you have to pay for the individual character to be maxed out. Like if I jumped inside Marvel's Avengers right now and I decided I wanted to play as Black Panther, right? Over the course of me playing that character, I am able to unlock the base level of that character by the time it reaches its top rank, right? And then now they have like the championships, the champion system at the end. That's for me to continue playing that character, and I'm earning those rewards as I play in game. I don't have to purchase them from anywhere. I don't have to collect tokens or anything like that from where. If I jumped inside Final Fantasy 14, by the time I level up my individual class all the way up to the end game level, I have all of the skills of that player and I'm able to utilize them. I have all the base level statistics. I don't have to go inside a shop and purchase them. So you can see where I'm saying, like, it's a good idea and fundamentals in terms of, like, you know, giving players something to drive forward for in terms of getting this. It is a bad idea in terms of execution, and it is ugly and intent, because there's no way a developer came here and said, hey, I wanted a player to have to put out the effort in terms of cash, right? In terms of cash and doing these things. Now, when you go inside Dimension Duels, it is important for me to point this out to you, right? Because I did point it out inside the Dimension Duels shop rewards, is that along the way you are going to pick up some potential reports inside Dimension Duels. So they did put this here, but the problem is how much of these are going to actually facilitate you actually capping out the game, meaning that, you know, you get it for bronze 1, you get 30 reports, right? That's nothing. Like, that's literally nothing. And then you get another 40, so that's 70 at silver, right? And then you get another 50 right here, so we're at 120, right? And then we get another at platinum, so we're 220. And then we get another at diamond, so that's 370. Basically, you're looking at about 400 to 500 potential reports overall in terms of that. What is that realistically going to give you in terms of it? Is it going to help you cap out, let alone that you're fighting that hard to get up here, and you need that potential in order to raise your skill character level, right? And get more power behind your character at the base stat level, right? Because that's base stats. That's stats that are innate to the character, but you're paying and having to work to just get stats that are innate to the character, and not just through story advancement or, you know, play advancement. You're literally having to go into another mode entirely. You're having to go into the store entirely. So it gets really ugly, and it's one of the things that I did not like about this. Like, it is clear as it's when you get and you dig into the mechanics of a game like this, where you actually see the intent of developers and you start to observe stuff that you go, you really have to question, because this is a mechanic, right? And the mechanic is literally intended at this point, because you can see that in order to get potential, I have to go inside the shop necessarily. I only have one other place to do it, and that's here. Well, if I can't raise my base innate stats through the game, it's probably going to be more difficult for me to participate in Dimension Duels and get those rewards against other players, right? So I'm never going to reach those ranks without getting those potentials. So immediately I look at ways that I can improve my character immediately and go, ah, shit, I gotta go to the freaking cash shop to get it. I gotta go to this. Like, it's literally ways that they literally gate locked your character and forced you into the shop to make purchases, and that's where it gets ugly. Things like this, where it's like innate basic stats to a character, things like that should not be paywalled at any point. They just should not be paywalled. Like, there should be no pay for advancement. This, you gave me a story, you gave me Captain America, you gave me Star-Lord, you gave me Iron Man, and I want to progress that character in order to feel just the foundation level of what that character is. I should be able to have that. The costumes are enough. You're already charging outlandish amounts of dollars for the costumes. You're already making it really hard to get battle badges, and these are the add-on pieces. Now you're making it hard just to get innate stats for the character, right? Because without those status effect accuracies, right, do I really want to try to jump into, I'll show you guys this now to kind of finish out the video when I'm talking about these stuff. So for instance, if I'm inside Masters of the Mystic Arts, right? So we look at this skill, right? And it goes, you know, creates a circular band in a group that deals 220, 400. That's not a status effect. You know what I mean? Like, if I come inside here and a snare for a skill right there is a status effect, because I'm dealing a status effect. Increasing my defensive pierce, I don't necessarily need status effect in order to improve something that's happening to me solely. So it doesn't really affect those things, right? But across the skills, and I can tell you and I can promise you that these are the most used skills right here, like 7 Rings of Ragador, right? Does this skill right here affect my accuracy? Does Gateway Summoning affect my status effect accuracy? Does the Book of Ashanti affect my status effect accuracy? Does Eldritch Swords affect my status effect? So you can see, like, those are some of the top level skills inside the game that you're going to be using for a character like, you know, Doctor Strange. Decreasing my cooldown, that's just innate to me. You know, recovering my stamina, that's innate to me. So a lot of this stuff that it was like, hey, I need this status effect accuracy, are you really needing those status effect accuracies to actually deal damage to your character? Because are you actually doing any status effects with a lot of Doctor Strange's more popular skills? So hunting down that status effect inside of the skill windows and the potential doesn't make sense, but they still put it there as something for you to achieve, to level up and increase your character innately. That is dirty. It is ugly. And that's all I have to say about it, guys. I just don't think that is something that's in there that was meant and intended in a nice way for us. Let me know what you think in the comment section. I definitely have seen this across the board in most characters, and it's kind of weird to me that, you know what, we have to literally look at one of the main underliers for our character, which is an innate part of the character, to enhance these, and it's not given to us as we progress through the story and level up our character. It's kind of despicable if I'm being honest with it, but that's just me. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Until next time, peace.